Friday night. I just ate 2 pieces of chicken. Talked to my friend Lisa for about an hour. Talked to Jess. I talked to Susan for an hour. I talked to Jessica for a half hour. It's all good. I can't say there's any big news today. We'll get there. I'm still on let's try to be positive for Donald Trump train. And let's give Donald Trump creative solutions to save America. Yeah, if you're a Democrat and you're doing a lot of complaining and crying, stop that and come up, pretend that you are on Donald Trump's cabinet. What if Donald Trump created a Democratic cabinet, a parallel cabinet to his existing cabinet? So Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Education, or whatever the other departments, his cabinet. Maybe Trump should create a second cabinet called the Democratic cabinet. And the Democratic cabinet are full of people who love America and maybe don't love Trump as much as they love America. And their job is to put together proposals for Trump to consider. Hey, Brad and Yes Man. Imagine if Trump had the courage to create a parallel Democratic cabinet. Maybe even put Nancy Pelosi on it. And then he could live stream the meeting. And imagine Nancy's in charge. And she's like, Trump, we're pretty upset with you right now. You said a lot of shit this week. And we're just going to put that to the side. We're going to table that for now. I know we only got 2 hours. And we put together some plans, some action plans, some real executable ideas that even a moron like you could get done. So let's get started. Nancy's like, step 1, we need a transgender army. A whole battalion of transgenders. And we want their uniform to be pink camouflage. That's right, you heard me, pink camouflage. Wouldn't it be fucking exciting if Trump made a whole Democratic cabinet full of Democrats who traditionally don't like him? And their job is to not look like buffoons and to come up with actionable ideas. Mm-hmm. By the way, this is a new idea I just came up with tonight. Let me ask Grok, what are the cabinet positions in the White House? I mean, I should know these, right? But I don't. Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, Secretary of the Interior. I don't know. Secretary of Education. Oh, this is why I make a good politician, because if I don't know something, I'll tell you I don't know. That's why we have search engines. We can just Google it. Oh, big news. This here might look like a big turd, which it is. This is my Macintosh Air, and the battery is kaputs. And I ponied up $200 to have Apple put a new battery in it today. So they're sending me a box, and then I send them back the box with my laptop in it. And hopefully it comes back to life. I'm paying top dollar. And why am I doing this? Because a refurbished one of that generation, which is 2020, costs $450. All right. I also bought an iPhone 12 today, and I bought a OtterBox Defender case for it. And it's the very first case I've ever bought for a smartphone. All right. What are the cabinet positions titles for question mark? I think there's 13 cabinet positions. Secretary of State, Secretary of the Treasury, Secretary of Defense, Attorney General, Secretary of the Interior, Secretary of Agriculture, Secretary of Commerce, Secretary of Labor, Secretary of Health and Human Services, Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Secretary of Transportation, Secretary of Energy, Secretary of Education, Secretary of Veteran Affairs, Secretary of Homeland Security. And I know some of you are saying, you could have just left off Secretary, Wayne. I know. In addition to these department heads, certain other high-ranking officials are typically granted cabinet-level status, though this can vary by administration. Vice President, United States, White House Chief of Staff, Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, Director of National Intelligence, United States Trade Representative, United States Ambassador to the United Nations, Chair of the Council of Economic Advisors, Administrator of the Small Business Administration. So, all those names I just read, I propose, and I need your help to tell Donald Trump to create, for the first time ever, a parallel cabinet full of his political opposition. This is an olive branch to bring both sides of the government together to walk down the aisle in matrimony and join a union of marriage for you, the taxpayers, the American people. That's leadership. If Donald Trump creates a parallel cabinet of his political opponents, and he has separate cabinet meetings with them once a week or something, they can give him proposals about how to make America better. And then Donald Trump can say, wow, hey, America, you're a handsome president here. I want to let you know I just met with the cabinet number 2, my Democratic friends who love America as much as I do. And we came up with some really great ideas, and I will be taking action. I will be making some executive orders on behalf of my Democratic cabinet, whatever he chooses to call it. I think this is a game changer. 2 cabinets are better than 1. It would also make his political rivals feel listened to instead of ignored. I'm pretty sure the Republicans control the Senate and the House right now, and it might bring more unity in America. I guarantee you this would result in additional positive changes and more working across the aisle. We have to quit fighting. We do. We have to quit fighting. Speaking of fighting, if you want to defend Ukraine, we should be drafting anybody who stands with Ukraine on Twitter. They should be drafted to go fight in the war for Ukraine. Yeah, you should be standing with America. You shouldn't be standing with Ukraine. So if you want to go stand with Ukraine, we should make an American army of Ukrainian supporters, and we will give you military training, and then we'll put you on an airplane over to Ukraine. We should also create a transgender army of Ukrainian supporters so they can be loud and proud over in Ukraine. Yeah. Let's read some stuff here. Yeah, the President Trump, well, he is good, I think. So this is my opinion. All right, well, don't think too hard over there. Keep it coming. Goldstein, Shalom. Transgender Ukrainian army seems like an oxymoron. You're quite a comedian. That is good. I wasn't ready for something really. That was good. Write that one down. Jamie, write that down. Hey, Callie Tate. Good evening. Oh, this is Comedy Hour. I hope you guys didn't miss that. That was straight up good humor. I really like that. Let me bounce over to politically incorrect. And while that's loading, let me show you a deal that's got my underwear bunched. Here it is, 1990 350 SDL Mercedes. This is diesel. It's got the same motor my car has. Look at this swanky interior. Look at that. That is complete swank. Just a little rubbing right here. So the guy must have been overweight, because that when you get in and out, you can tear the leather right there. And this is also the Palomino interior color, which is the same color as my Mercedes. And wow. Runs and drives good, clean title, new water pump and fan clutch, fresh fluids. The other thing you want to look for is, all right, it's hard to tell. So this is the odometer, and that's the tripometer. And if that says 0, if it's zeroed out in a photo, that means this doesn't work. Oh, what happened here? Holy shit. Holy shit, friends. Hold on a sec. What the fuck just happened? Oh, I got green screen going. Hold on. All right, we're back. Whoa, that was freaky. I should learn about. So if that is working, it says 100. It says 11 miles or 110 miles. So that odometer is working. And also, notice these are light yellow in color. They should be orange. So that is super fucking suspicious, because this odometer cluster could be from another car to falsify the miles, because when we look at that interior, it looks perfect. It doesn't look sun damaged at all, but and that body looks good. Well, that doesn't look sun damaged. It looks garaged. That looks perfect. But that is sun damage, okay? I actually painted mine recently back to orange. So this odometer, like, I'd want to see a Carfax. I also want to see under the hood. That could be authentic, but that's sun. So the leather interior should be fucking wasted. It should look like cardboard inside, but it looks supple. Actually, the interior matches the miles if it was garaged. So maybe it is authentic. This car's $5,500. I kind of want to buy it. That's not why we're here tonight, but I did want to share that with you. How have you been, Wayne? I've been doing good. Yeah, I went for a moto today in my pajamas, in my snake boots, and my helmet. It was fucking great. I was like, oh, no, I should go for a walk. Sun's nearly down. You haven't gone for a walk in about a week, Wayne, you lazy motherfucker. That's what I'm saying to myself. And I'm like, maybe I should just throw on my helmet and some gloves and go for a motorcycle ride in first gear. So that's exactly what I did. I'm wearing my pajamas too. I was wearing my pajamas on the dirt bike, because that's how I roll. Future episode. How'd you break your arm, Wayne? Well, I was riding the motorcycle on my pajamas, in my pajamas. Normally I wear a lot of safety gear. Those are my leg braces right there for my knees. They have a whole like chest protector. It looks like football gear. It's great stuff. I only wear that if I'm going to be doing some crazy stuff. And what I mean by crazy stuff is like going up a 2 or 3 foot wall. Just you kind of blip the throttle and make the front end come up, and then the wheel hits here, and then you can go over it. Pretty amazing. And it's all slow speed, but even an innocent accident, if you just tip over, you could break your wrist or something. Bike could fall on you. Gasoline could be pouring on your chest, and then it ignites and you burn to death. All right. Okay, so the funniest thing Trump did today was, I'll show you right here. New York Times, Trump does not recognize Canada's border. Trump is telling Trudeau the border needs to be renegotiated. I'm actually really happy with this. That is straight up out of the box crazy. That's out of the box thinking. And if I'm to be, well, I'm always honest with you. I wouldn't have thought of that. That is straight up trolling. That is presidential trolling. I'm proud of Trump. That's good. And Trump could be like, according to my calculations, you, Canada, are encroaching on America's territory up to 10 miles. He could just like steal 10 miles of border from Canada. I don't know. I'm not sure what he's got up his sleeve. I really think that Canada should be part of America. Yeah. Think of all the timber. You know, most of Canada is mosquitoes. It's basically useless. Let me pull up a map of Canada at night, and I'll show you where all the lights are. And where there's no lights, that's where the mosquitoes live. Canada at night. Map. Space. Jim Bim. All right, Jim Bim. Oh, Shutterstock. All right, well, we got a few here to look at. All right, so that Shutterstock, that don't make sense. Like, why would this be lit up on the perimeter of the islands? That makes no sense. So this one makes more sense. This is the making sense. All right, so this is where a lot of wheat is grown, the plains, and from here is the plains. But all this here, up here, all that dark area, that's mosquito territory. It's permafrost and mushy in the spring, and it's we're not just talking like a few mosquitoes. We're talking like if you took the pepper shaker, and just went on your hand, it would be black. Well, instead of black, that'd be like mosquitoes. They're just everywhere. Now, there's a lot of gold up here, like there's gold in Alaska, but this is all this up here is also, it's just that whole thing here, all mosquitoes. Imagine the smell. I don't think it's stinky up there. Yeah, I don't know. I just know it's just brutal. Hey, Techrohedricon, welcome. Yep. I wasn't sure if I did a broadcast earlier. Jim. So back to politically incorrect here. Amish children facing forced vaccination in New York as court ruling crushes religious freedom. Huh. Well, how does that impact Jewish people? Wayne, when do the aliens come and save us from the tyranny? I think the aliens are only going to come at one time. And that's just before the flood happens. And the reason is, where's my tape? Oh, forgot my yarmulke here. First of all, let's get my yarmulke going here. Well, this is the North Pole, okay? And when Nibiru comes by, within 3 hours, it goes like this. So all that ice is now at the equator. And that distance would be a quarter of 24,000 miles. So that's 6,000 miles. And in 3 hours, that's 2,000 miles an hour. So you would see 2,000 mile an hour winds and waves. And the whole world dies, according to this book, the Adam and Eve story, a story of Cataclysms, something like that, late 60s. Our CIA outlawed this book. So Nibiru is a planet that's part of our solar system, and we have never seen it. Its evidence exists because of the elliptical orbit around the sun that the planets make. The planets make an ellipse, like an egg shape, and it should be a perfect circle. And the reason it's an egg shape is, and Caltech scientists 4 years ago said that the only answer is another planet that we've never seen that's part of our solar system. So they theorize that this planet Nibiru, Wormwood, the red dragon, it's in the Bible as Wormwood, comes by every 23 or 27,000 years, and it's the story of the floods, and it brings nearly 100% cataclysmic destruction. The book, the Adam and Eve story, towards the end of the book, he says, and just before it happens, a rescue party of aliens come to Earth, and the people on Earth are given an option to hop on the alien spacecraft before the destruction happens. So that's the best answer I got for you. Yep, scary shit. So, or drown to death on the Earth. I take the alien option. I mean, what do you want to die in a big tidal wave of debris, boulders, trees, earth? You would drown. Your body would be turned into tiny little bits within a short period of time. You can't survive it. Or, be killed and eaten on an alien ship. At least with the alien ship, you can be an alien ship before you die. Or if you're on Earth, yeah, exactly. Go for the alien ship. And if they're coming to Earth, well, that seems pretty benevolent, and they know what's happening. And there's lots of stories in the Bible. Something about when the dragon is dripping at the foot of the lady, and the lady is said to be, her waistband is Orion, Ursula Major. So the star constellation of Ursula Major, when we see something happening at her feet, that could be a sign that Nibiru is, no, that could be a sign that this rescue party is on its way. There's also a part of the galaxy on Google Space that they've blanked out. So there's something in the stars they don't want us to see. and it looks like a red dot with whiskers. So it's a circle with little whiskers on both sides and a circle in the middle. I don't know. We're kind of in an off topic. Let me see if I can find the picture of Nibiru for you. Nibiru photo space. Images. Let me put red dragon. Red dragon. Red ball with whiskers. Found it. It's this one right there. So Google Maps is hiding this right now. And that's what Nibiru, the red dragon. Oh, and Google's also hiding this one. The two eyes. And see how it's got a smiley face? So 2 dots and a smiley face might also be the red dragon. Yeah. Well, you learn something new if you've never heard of this tetrahedron. Hopefully we'll never see it in our lifetime. Yeah. All right, I'm going to go back to politically incorrect. Well, you know, we're all going to die. So that's kind of scary. We're basically all going to die. Our whole life, we conveniently kind of forget that we're going to die someday. It's selective denial. All right. China announces 100% tariffs on select Canadian imports. Happening. Tariff is killing the US dollar. The whole world stops accepting the US dollar. That's not true, but it probably is hurting the US dollar. You know, what if Trump's goal is to make the rest of the world hate us, which wouldn't be too hard, and then their economies crash because they realized, oh, we kind of need America. America was really helping them. So then they're going to come kissing our ass, wanting to buy our goods and services. We're a juggernaut of intellectual capital. We've got some of the smartest people in the world here. Oh, this is a Palestinian Chinese national who organizes Palestinian rallies at UCLA just had her visa revoked. Well, that's not really fair. Oh, U.S. Army on Twitter says, today we mark the official renaming of Fort Bragg with a ceremony. This event will honor the legacy of Army hero and World War II veteran, Private First Class Roland Bragg. It kind of feels like they're bragging about it. Wah, wah, wah. Oh, Gene Hackman, the actor who died at age 95, and he had a wife that was 30. Apparently, she died from some, which is kind of dangerous. I don't know what the virus, maybe it says here. Let me click onto it. Maybe we'll see it. It's something dangerous like Ebola, but it's not Ebola. We'll see if somebody mentions it here. It is definitely not. It is not Ebola, but you've probably heard of it. Oh, Dinju fever, maybe? Some of those pack rats in the Southwest carry strange disease. It is something from rats. Well, anyway, she died. She was dead for 5 days, and then Hackman died later. And then their dog was in the doggy crate, and the dog starved to death. Yeah. Yep, that's how they're saying it happened. Could be a cover story. Gene Hackman was complaining that there was a group of tiny hat people, probably this tiny hat, that were out to get him and ruin his life. So he might have pulled a Kanye West and started shitting on the people who made him famous. Kanye West is a no-talent moron. Oh my God, I didn't even know this happened. Yeah, that's right, poor dog. This guy, Dan Bongino, claims defending Israel is his top priority. Oh, really? How many times has he been to Epstein Island? Anybody defending Israel has been to Epstein Island. They've got blackmail on them. They're like, dear Americans, we must defend Israel. No other way around it. Got to do it. Number one priority. What about America? Well, we're going to work on America, but first, we must defend Israel. There's some kind of blackmail going on. Meloni, the prime minister of Italy, a woman, kind of pretty. She backs giving Ukraine NATO security without membership. I do not support that at all. It's a slow news night. Are my comments visible, Mr. Brennan? Yes, they are visible. If you're just joining, I had an idea for Trump to create the very first ever parallel political oppositional cabinet. So he has two cabinets, the people he loves and then the people he doesn't like. And also let the Democrats pick the people for Trump's oppositional cabinet. I can hear a car like 2 miles away, but I think that's an airplane. If you don't know this, I live in the desert. My nearest neighbor is like 8 or 9 miles away. I've never met them. There's 200 people that live on a golf course. And then I live inside Joshua Tree National Park. So 3 sides of me are the national park, but I'm in this little sliver of private property. So it's like a peninsula of private property into the park. It's gorgeous. And so I have this unobstructed view of the national park with no buildings. It's just purely gorgeous. It's kind of the closest you could probably get to feeling like you're on Mars or a place never touched by humanity. So I live in a really beautiful place. And I'm probably moving soon, maybe close to a town called Temecula, to do a news show. So a woman I know for 30 years, her name's Lisa, and she and I are going to do a few YouTube channels every day. We're going to do a news show. I'm going to do a lot of video production. Jace says, this was especially evil little island. So people that went there were specifically are rightfully suspicious. Yeah. Well, what people should talk about more is there's potentially and logically underground chambers. So that white and blue building with the owl on it is probably the top of an elevator that takes people to the underground chambers where all the bad shit's going on. And that also applies to Zorro Ranch. Zorro Ranch is another Epstein property in New Mexico that just got sold for $120 million. And it's got a very flat thing next to it with 3 circles that look like a bullseye, and that looks like the roof. And the story of Zorro, apparently, Zorro has an underground lair, like Batman, an underground something. So there's something underground at Zorro Ranch. Texas teen suffered miscarriage, dies days after baby shower due to abortion ban as mom begs doctors to do something. Wow. Thanks, Techrohedricon. And what a shame this lady died. Here's a Democrat, and she's like, okay, now let's go get you that video game. Yeah, this is there's a term. I don't know. I forget. When an animal has bright colors, it means it's toxic. I got to try to remember this. I could pull it up, but I don't want to right now. I think it's great that Trump is pulling support for Ukraine. Zelensky, he's not their leader. He is a dictator. He suspended the elections. That's not right. He's also got a cocaine problem. Like, we should do mandatory drug testing on all politicians monthly. And yeah, House and Senate, all states should have mandatory drug testing for politicians and police officers, including steroid use. You know how many cops are doing illegal drugs? Well, it's more than 1%. How do you know, Wayne? Let me ask you, is your police force 100% corruption free? Well, mathematically, that's not probable. There's a small percentage of corruption. So out of those corrupt people, what percentage are doing illegal drugs from the evidence locker? Statistically, mathematically, it has to happen. Well, let's talk about this. Is called the Deagel. Deagel is a think tank of sorts for the military, and you can go to this website, Deagel.com, and you can learn more about them. But they're saying in 2017 the population is 327 million, and they're forecasting in 2025 100 million. That means they're expecting 227 million people to die. They're expecting 227 million people to die this year. They're expecting the gross domestic product to go from 19 trillion to 2.4 trillion. So they are predicting some kind of DEAGEL. DEAGEL. You making fun of my pronunciation? Well, it doesn't matter. My friend Brian made a new game today, PXL. It's called Pixel City. It's not operational yet. We're going to call it Wayne _4. He's building it. He'll probably quit this by tomorrow. Oh, click me. Right on. Oh, Codium. Codium is his advertiser right there. My forward-facing happy. Kind of good enough. Anyways, this is a game that Brian is making, and his buildings are looking nicer. The play's it's a little slow. Anyways, back to me. Well, the gameplay is not determined yet. I told them that you should allow people to buy spray paint so they can spray paint on the walls of the buildings. And you should allow people to buy bombs so you can bring down the buildings like Fight Club. And also you can buy tokens so you can buy prostitutes on the corner. Yeah. Those were my ideas. All right. Well, 43 minutes. We might squeeze out an hour, which is kind of my goal. Let's look at my filters. So right now, we got 1 Zelensky, Ukraine 10, Israel 10, 17 Trump, 6 JD Vance, and 1 JD. Yeah. Thanks, Tetrahedricon. No, I didn't start a thread. I don't think there is a thread. I didn't see anything. It doesn't matter. Oh, this is a good topic. There's a guy named Kanye West. He has been pretending to be a musician, which is a grift all by itself. So he's really not a musician. He's just a giant jackass. And he should go to Israel and wear that shirt. Yeah, that's what I think he should do. Bass, I don't care. I don't care about any of that shit. I post in 4chan throughout the day whenever I feel like it. Politically incorrect is really the most intellectual place you can be for politics. It's absolutely a joy. And if you don't hang out there, well, you're just missing out, man. You're hanging out with low IQ propaganda somewhere else. If you want the high IQ propaganda, then you go to politically incorrect. It's where the news gets its news. Oh, Miss Universe accidentally losing her skirt on stage. Uh-huh. We're not going to play it. What do you think about the tariffs, Wayne? Well, tariffs in the long term will force companies to do manufacturing in America, which will create jobs for Americans in two modalities. One, they'll have to build factories. So the construction is a type of job. Then when the factory's made, whatever products they're making, like Honda Motor Cars is going to start making more cars here. They're already making cars like on the East Coast. Like Ford trucks, I think most of them come from Mexico. So Trump's going to bring back jobs. And then when the Democrats get back in office, they'll send the jobs back to Mexico. So it's just a whole bunch of paper shuffling. Also, the politicians want to give the appearance like they're trying their hardest. They would have got further if it wasn't for the opposition who's trying to sabotage America's success. They hate the middle class. You know, it's just rhetoric. It's just a bunch of garbage. Ah, there's my thread. Thank you. Looks good. Oh, Jesus. So Ash Wednesday, Mark Rubio went to Ash Wednesday and got the cross, and people are saying they've never seen it. Well, then you're really not a Catholic. Yeah, if you go to Ash Wednesday, you get the ashes of Jesus on your forehead. I used to be a Catholic. I converted. Oh, bummer. All right. All right, we're back. So I was talking about Jesus, and I was saying that I believe in the Easter Bunny more than I believe in Jesus. That Jesus is like a neglect. Jesus is like a father who doesn't love their children. And Jesus, I'm sorry, well, the father went to the store to get milk, and the kids are like, "Mom, where's Daddy?" Well, kids, your father, he went to go get some milk, and he must be having trouble finding it. But Mommy, Daddy's been gone for 6 months. Well, he's having a hard time, and all we can do is pray that he comes back. He's never coming back. Jesus went and had a family in another state with another woman. So Jesus has been gone for 2025 years. He's not coming back, people. So at least with the Jews, their version of Jesus, their Messiah, undetermined, he's coming. It's not maybe an if, it's a guaranteed. It's a matter of when. All right. So what do you believe in more? Daddy, who's been gone for 2,025 years to get milk, or the guy who was never here, the Messiah? So I'm going to go for the Messiah. It's a better story. Hey, Maples. Yeah. Also, these religions are like, you know, in 2,000 years, they'll say, wow, America was really an interesting place. Apparently, Bart Simpson was their leader. Nearly half of Americans followed a person by the name of Bart Simpson. Right? It's nuts. So who are we to say this or that? It's just a story, and there's no reason for killing each other over it. But hey, don't deny somebody their murderous rampage. If somebody's got homicidal tendencies and they want to act them out on the oppositional religion, let them do it. God gave us free will. So who am I to say? Like, my life turned to ashes 10 or 15 years ago, and my Christian friends weren't there, and my Jewish friends were. So this is why I converted to Judaism, because the Christians I knew weren't being Christian, and the Jews that I knew were acting as Christians. They were doing the work of Jesus, who happens to be a Jew. All right. So you guys can hate Jews all you want, but what you're really saying is, I hate Jesus Christ. Or you can mitigate your hatred for Jews. I hate Jews 99.99999% except for that guy Jesus. That one Jew Jesus. Oh, he's the best. But like the absent father who went to go get milk, he hasn't come home, and we sure hope he comes home someday, and we sure hope he didn't start another family in another state with another woman. Have you heard of the Schofield Bible? Well, the Schofield Bible is quite a rabbit hole. It's not too deep. In the 1890s or 1910, around that time, the Rothschilds paid a sleazy minister, Schofield, to rewrite the Bible and to inject the story of Israel being the homeland. And they opened up a branch, and then they started selling these Bibles to everybody. And now everybody thinks that Israel is the homeland for the Jews. It's just marketing. I don't care, because I'm on Team Jew. You're on Team Jesus. No homeland. I'm on Team Jew. We got a homeland in the Middle East, which I'm never fucking going to visit because it's going to be destroyed according to the Freemasons. You know, let me read the letter of Albert Pike to you. It's quite a page turner, and you might shit your pants. Going to take me a moment to pull it up. I pulled it up. First of all, who is Albert Pike? Albert Pike meet Albert Pike. He was a general in the Civil War, and he's a 33-degree Mason, and that's all I'm going to share with you. What I want to share next is the 3 world wars. I'm going to try to get this in the screen for you. All right. Oops. Where's my... Here we are. Control small. There we go. One more. Actually, let's read all 3 wars. starting here. Oh, can I? All right, we can. Hold on a sec. Actually, let's read all of it. We're going to have the computer read it to us. Hold on a sec. Shit. Computer's not going to read it. I'll have to read it to you. Albert Pike, letter to Mazzani. The Illuminati plan for 3 world wars, August 15th, 1871. The following is a letter that speculation claimed that Albert Pike wrote to Giuseppe Mazzani in 1871 regarding a conspiracy involving 3 world wars that were planned in an attempt to take over the world. The Pike letter to Giuseppe Mazzani was on display in the British Museum Library in London until 1977. This letter has been claimed by many internet sites to reside in the British Library in London, which denies the letter existed. Giuseppe Mazzani was an Italian revolutionary leader in the mid-1880s, as well as the director of the Illuminati. Albert Pike, historical Mason figure, was a 33-degree Mason, occultist, Grand Master, and creator of the southern jurisdiction of the Masonic Scottish Rite Order. Following are apparently extracts from the letter showing how 3 world wars have been planned for many generations. The First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the powers of the czars in Russia and of making the country a fortress of atheist communism. The divergences caused by the Agentur, agents of the Illuminati, between the British and Germanic empires will be used to foment this war. At the end of the war, communism will be built and used in order to destroy the other governments and in order to weaken the religions. The Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascist and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would be then restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm. Here's where it gets juicy. And this is where we are today. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the Agentur of the Illuminati between political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. I repeat, mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and the most bloody turmoil. Then, everywhere, the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilizations, and the multitude, disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be compass or direction, anxious for an ideal without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestations of the pure doctrine of Lucifer brought fully out in the public view. This manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. Mic drop. So this Albert Pike thing, think about it. The Rothschilds, who most likely run 80% of the banks in the world, if not 90, know people hate the Jews. And in the Jewish community, there's division. Some Jews hate other Jews. In this case of this letter, there's a high probability that the Rothschilds could give two fucks about the people of Israel, that they're just pawns in the Rothschilds' global domination plan, New World Order, which is corporate fascism. It's not called New World Democracy. So all this, Iran is a threat to Israel. We must stop them. They're going to get the nuclear bomb. This all plays into this Third World War, and that they're going to fight each other. It's going to be a terrible war, huge amounts of bloodshed, millions and millions of people dead, maybe some nuclear bombs, and it's going to drag the rest of the world into a larger regional war, which eventually could spread around the world. And it says, years of turmoil. So then everywhere the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of the revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization and the multitude disillusioned with. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. So I talk about, I think anybody who's ever studied economics has said to themselves, shouldn't the stock market have crashed a long time ago? It's being artificially stimulated. But who's doing it? Who has this unlimited pile of money to do it? Well, there's only one answer: the Rothschilds. So the Rothschilds are keeping America going through the stock market, and they're going to start a war. We're not going to crash the economy, because we need think of the economy as a Swiss watch, and it's all working very well. We need a functioning society to start a war. We need all the factories producing the weapons. So Trump's going to go to war in his last year of office. So we probably will see war in 3 years, and Trump is going to ramp up the war machine. There'll be little conflicts, not many people dying, but Trump will be like, man, we better get a handle on this. We better start making some weapons because this really could blow up. And then at that third year, they'll increase the war, more death, more international terrorism, bombs going off in cities and people going, who did it? Nobody taking responsibility. And then Trump, if he's smart, will change the laws to give himself a third term. And he'll also change the law to allow people like Elon Musk to become president. Do I want this to happen? Yes, I do want it to happen. So would I be happy if Trump had a third term? No, I'd want to stop it. But I think 3 terms is plausible if you get a good leader in there. I think we should change our voting system away from these computerized machines and create a voting system based on the blockchain. If you know how the blockchain works, if I send you money on the blockchain, there's a note, dear blockchain, Wayne sent money to you on this date, whatever today is, March 7th at 10:45 at night. And it's there. So there's 350 million Americans. Let's say there's 150 million Americans that are able to vote. So my rig-proof voting system would send all 150 million Americans a potpourri of tokens, 20, 50 tokens, whatever it is. And so they're like, each token is worth 1 penny of Bitcoin. And then when you go to the voting booth, you've got your cachet of coins, and you say 1 for this presidential candidate, and 1 for this senator, and 1 for the House of Representatives, a few for local initiatives in my state. And then when the coins left over, you don't use. So then when the voting's over, they're like, all right, who spent coins? Oh, look at Wayne. He had 50 coins and he only had 40 things he could vote on, but he must have been in a rush because he only voted on 20. And he's got leftover coins, which we put in the not used pile. And then that vote for that candidate was from Wayne Lambright. And then when all the voting's done, we just do an audit of the blockchain for that date and time, and we get the results. There's no way to manufacture. There's no way to create fraud. So the way we prevent fraud is before the election, we say, like I'm a programmer, so I could write a program. It says send all voting age Americans their 50 Bitcoins worth a penny each, and write down the address of every coin into a database. So there's Wayne's 50 coins, Wayne's 50 unique identifiers, and then when he votes, that unique identifier was spent on the candidate. So all those coins are known in advance. And when the election's over, you can go back and say, what happened to those coins? And that is actually the result of the election. What did I get on my orange shirt? Probably chicken juice. I'll show you my chicken. No dirty jokes, all right? No dirty jokes. There's the chicken. All right. I think that we should call it a night. We had a really good discussion, and the only summary I want to bring up, which was a really good creative idea, and I've never heard of it before, and I just invented it tonight, that Donald Trump considers making a second cabinet of his political opponents, the Democrats. And it involves like Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Attorney General, all those positions, Homeland Security. So he's got 2 cabinets, the one he picked, and they meet separately. Then on another day, he meets with or maybe the same day, he meets with the other cabinet, and they present ideas and they give solutions to Donald Trump to help make America better from their political ideology. And it's a way to bring both sides of the aisles together as an olive branch and create a union of unified Americans in a marriage. And the fruits of that marriage are the children of the bright future, where we can come together as both political parties and produce results for the tax-paying American public. That's all I got. Have a wonderful night. Let me say goodbye to Techrohedricon, Steve Bano, Mighty Max, River Bell, AFH Spike, Brian, River Bell, Maple, Callie Tate, Base J17, Techrohedricon, Mr. Brennan 21. If I forgot anybody, it was personal. Just kidding. Good night.